Hey everybody, it's Colton here again with the Inspire podcast. We're providing you fearless B2B sales, marketing, and management insights 1 week at a time. Today we've got a really special episode here with Tanya Keskar, who is the founder and CEO of Realize to Act, and Dana Aerosmith. I know I kind of teased a little bit of the intros there, but Tanya, how about you tell everybody who you are?
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity, Mr. Colton. It's wonderful to be here. So I am 15 years old. I'm a high school sophomore. And as he said, I am the founder and CEO of Realize to Act, my 501c3 nonprofit organization.
All right. Well, we're going to unpack that title in a little bit, because being 15, sophomore in high school with that title is pretty impressive and special. So we're going to jump to that in a second. Dana? How you doing?
My name's Dana Aerosmith, and I'm general manager of Dean Houston Nashville, and I'm one of the many Dean Houston team members that mentor or help Tanya to realize her vision.
All right. No, that's fantastic. So, Tanya, like I said, CEO, founder, 15. I mean, when I was 15, I was just trying to really figure out how to keep my clothes clean, and make sure I was at practice on time. So, CEO and founder, that's incredible. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got Realize to Act started, and what's your mission? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the slums in Nagpur, India. I was in 5th grade, and it was a pretty interesting experience for me. I remember the dirt roads, the broken down playground. There was this mattress on the side of the street with holes in it. And there was this one car that got stuck in the mud in front of us and had to be pulled out by hand. On the other hand, my home has shiny paved roads, a beautiful playground within walking distance. And when I went there, everything was so similar yet so different. I saw kids playing on the road just like we do at home, except their surroundings were so different. A lot of them didn't have shoes. And eventually, I met this group of girls there. They were so excited, full of energy, eager to learn, just like me. And that was a really eye-opening experience for me, because I could really imagine myself in their shoes. They were so happy and vibrant. They could easily be some of the kids in my neighborhood that I went out and played with every day. And they just simply weren't, because of the way life was. So I wanted to do something about that, because I never thought that people could live in those conditions, in those circumstances. I'm so used to taking a lot of the things that I have for granted. And this was an opportunity for me to pause and think about all of that. That's when I launched my initiative to spread awareness and empathy about topics like this that are so prevalent in our world, yet somehow manage to stay out of a lot of our minds.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's, well, first of all, you're definitely a storyteller. So that's fantastic. So going there and seeing all this, I'm sure a lot of people have had similar experiences. What was it like, that spark that inspired you to, well, I guess, realize that you should act? I think it's a great name, by the way. So what was it that really brought you from, obviously having this incredible, insightful experience and, seeing these things and saying wow, I see myself in what's happening here, and then take that and actually take action with it? What was the aha moment where you're like, I need to do something, and I'm going to do something?
Yeah, so it did take a while to process. I had never seen anything like that. But one day, I was just at home, and I just realized that I care a lot and I want to do something. But before, I never truly understood the fact that there are people out there in our own neighborhoods who are living without all of these resources that I always had. And it was always one of those things that are just stuck in the back of my mind. And I never really brought it to the forefront of my mind properly. It's always just consumed with my day-to-day activities and problems. But I finally thought about that, and it just clicked that there are so many people out there just like me who want to help, but don't know how or how to get involved. So I wanted to do something where people would be able to join and we could become a community, essentially to spread empathy.
Yeah, no, it's a huge thing and something the world definitely needs right now. So, so you had this idea, I'm going to get going, we're going to get started. What was the first thing you did to make this a reality?
Yeah, so it was pretty spontaneous. I just had this realization at one point, and then I was literally just eating dinner, and suddenly I grabbed my computer and I went on one of those online platforms and started designing a flyer for what I decided was going to be my first event. And it just all started out from there. I had this outline and I decided I wanted to follow through with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a long time for people to just decide to go do something. So like that event, what was the event?
Not really sure. So that was how it inspired. And then the event that I first planned, it was in partnership with this one organization called Pratham, which works to stop the cycle of poverty for kids in the slums of India by educating them and supporting schools there. So it was a fundraising event, a small awareness and fundraising gala in our area. So I went to some local businesses and tried to get support from them, our local community. And it ended up being an event at one of our local wineries where we invited a few people. We got our local congresswoman to come and a couple of other business leaders in the area. So that was pretty cool. And it was called the Spring Giving Event.
Okay.
So
oh, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so at the end, we ended up raising $1,000, which was enough to educate 40 kids in the slums of India through this organization for a year.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, I think that's incredibly inspiring, right? Because like you have this idea and then you're like, hey, I'm just going to get people connected, and you did the work to get that taken care of. I mean, Dana, I know you were jumping in there. That's pretty special, right?
It is. It's, a lot of people talk about things and causes, but few people act. So it's very admirable.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. So, it sounds like one of the big things that Realize Tag does is, connect the community, even to other organizations and work to get everybody together for fundraising. But what are some of the other things you do, Tanya? I know that, just checking your website and learning a little bit about your organization, it seems like you've got a pretty broad scope of how you're giving back and mobilize and to help solve some of the problems that you've seen. So what are some of the other things that Realize to Act is doing?
Yeah, so one of the things about my organization is that it doesn't focus on a specific cause or need. Our goal is more about getting people involved into wanting to help with those needs. So we run various programs in partnership with other nonprofit organizations. So essentially, Realize to Act is this ecosystem, which our goal is to bring together the people and the nonprofits that can help and then create this amplified effect of unified effort. So a couple programs we've done in the past, we had actually an essay contest at a couple of our schools that Realize to Act started, where students could enter a cause or nonprofit that they were passionate about and just write a little bit about that. And we ended up picking one of those. The nominated organization was RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And we are currently working with them to develop a program to spread awareness.
So I love it, right? And it sums up the name perfectly, Realize to Act. So correct me if I'm wrong, you're you're trying to help, everybody in your community and maybe greater community, because the internet's a beautiful thing. You connect with people all over. To really kind of take that step you took, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna take my time, my energy, and my talents and give back. And it sounds like you're trying to inspire others to kind of follow that path and connect them with the organizations that they can do that through. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's very insightful, right? Because the best way to do a lot is to help other people do things, help other people do things too. So I think there's a lot of beauty in that. So I know one of the programs that we personally at Dean Houston, help support is your backpack program. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about that?
Right. So both last year and now again this year, we're doing this program to donate backpacks and other school supplies to students in need in our local area. So Dean Houston is an amazing organization. They have sponsored a lot of this program, and we are able to donate, I believe at this point, 150 backpacks to students in need in our local area, along with the necessary school supplies.
That's incredible, especially at a time where, I know school can be hectic, whether it's virtual or mixed or remote. Having those supplies. I mean, but again, it goes back, and I bring back that story of you seeing, all these people that you saw yourself and realizing that maybe they don't have all the things that maybe, being from the U.S. or other parts of the world are privileged to. It's like you're solving that same problem again. I don't know. It's just incredible that origin story just runs throughout everything you do. It's kind of funny how that works sometimes. So, kind of to ask some of the hard questions here, Tanya, is what are some of the things you've learned through this experience? Maybe what are some of the greatest lessons that you've taken away kind of help bring this organization to reality, or maybe even some of the biggest challenges you faced?
Yeah.
I'm sure our audience, would get a lot of value out of kind of hearing some of that.
Yeah, let's see. I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned is it can be difficult, and it takes a lot of persistence and hard work to try and do something like this. Especially in today's environment, everyone is so busy, and people and organizations are operating under so much pressure and so many constraints. So getting support for nonprofit causes can be quite difficult, even when people want to get involved. I remember back when I was planning my first event, every day after school, I would go from business to business looking for support, but I didn't get much response due to their situations. Still though, at the same time, there were so many amazing people who supported me. My parents, teachers, peers, well-wishers from the community. And through all of this, we managed to persist through, and the event still came together.
Persistence absolutely key. I mean, Dana, I don't know if you've got any words of wisdom there, because I don't.
No, I was going to say I think she's wiser than I am.
Yeah, no, that's probably. I'm not gonna fit that. But I'll speak for myself. I know that's the case here. So. Looking forward, Tanya, I mean, what, obviously the nonprofit space and being cause-driven is growing in, I think, awareness and maybe cultural importance. I mean, you see businesses all the time trying to give back, and I think that, especially, it's happening across the board, but especially with, the youth these days, I think realizing to act is a theme. That's why I love this name so much. You see it happening, right? Is there really is an awakening there, both with, again, businesses and, nonprofits, where that's such an important part. And I know a lot of people want to get involved here. I think you do such a good job telling your story. You're probably going to go to a lot of the same insights you've already given us, but what advice would you have to somebody getting started and who wants to start to approach this world? as somebody who, at a young age was brave enough to just go do it.
Yeah, I know it can seem pretty daunting to set out and change the world, but if you're passionate about a cause, I'd say don't hold yourself back. You can do it. And with Realize to Act, please contact us. Just find a support system to get started in a small way. Our ecosystem, our goal is to empower people who want to start, and they will empower Realize to Act. So by working together, we can truly make this impact. So overall, I just want to summarize that again. It can seem like a lot to just sit out and say, I want to do something that's going to help the world, but you really can do it. Just little steps can make a huge difference.
Well, and persistence, like I can only imagine what it was like to go to all those businesses, and not get maybe the result you were looking for immediately, but you stuck with it, and I think that, yeah, just kind of like the braveness and boldness to start and keep with it. I mean, I think we can all learn a lot from your story,
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about just today's environment where a lot of adults are even hesitant to take a step right now because they're waiting to see what's going to happen, or what's next, or this whole year has been such an uproar, such an upheaval to the way we do business and everything. I think a lot of us could take inspiration from Tanya.
Absolutely. No, I am. But, so what's the long-term vision here, Tanya? I mean, you're obviously doing some incredible things, but, how long has Realize to Act been around, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it's been about 3 years at this point.
So, 3 years is a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a very short time. There's probably a lot left to do. So, like, where are you taking this? What's your big vision, and what do you want to really help, the world accomplish through this?
I do have a pretty big vision. There are just like so many companies that have started small, but by persisting through, they've dramatically changed our world and created some essential elements of our current era, especially technology. So I want the Realize to Act ecosystem to be able to reach every corner of the world. And with technology, that's possible. So my vision is to create a digital platform that will be available to people all over to engage, connect, and learn about each other, expanding their empathy and knowledge of other people in the world to make a meaningful difference for themselves and others.
Okay. No, I think that you're exactly right. I mean, again, like you tell the story, the name, like the idea is really, motivating people, and yeah, you can reach people at scale via technology. So that's, again, it's extremely insightful. So the big idea of this platform, I mean, that's very, very powerful. So I do have a personal question for you there. What do you know what you want to do in college, or what path you want to take?
Ooh, that's a hard one at this point.
Yeah.
I've started to look at perhaps something in science, but that's a pretty broad field. And then there are also so many more things I've been exploring. Journalism. I think this semester I'm taking an elective in biotechnology. So I really have no idea at this point.
No, that's okay. The only reason I was asking is like thinking about technology, but the stories you told and everything. I mean, that was more just curiosity, but it makes sense, right? It seems like you've got a lot of broad interests. Okay. So say that, obviously Dana and I know, how to help Realize to Act, realize its mission. Our audience might not. So, this is your time to do your shameless plug. Where do you want people to go, and what do you want people to do?
Thank you. So we are always doing a couple of programs with various nonprofits. And if anyone would like to get involved, please reach out to me at Realize to Act through our website or email. That would be realizetoact.com or realizetoact@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your innovative ideas, and there's always plenty of help we could use in our programs.
So, okay, now I'm a digital marketing guy and I have to ask this question. How the heck did you get realizetoact.com as a URL? Was it just there or?
Pretty much. Actually, that was a part of making my name of the organization. Like, so I think, yeah, before it was even a nonprofit, and then I had already started to plan the event, I was just like, we should have a name. So I figured an organization, especially now, should have a website. So I just logged on to like one of the local website hosts and just searched for a whole bunch of names that I could think of, and then realized to act happened to be available, and it made sense to me.
No, it is. It's such a great name, and it aligns with like what inspired you and what you're trying to accomplish. I don't know. We might you might just skip the college thing. We might need you to work for Dean Houston coming up with names. That could be a career there for you too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dana, what do you think about that? Because I mean, how many hours haven't we spent trying to find a domain name for our clients? And it's like Tanya's just making light work of it here.
Oh, it can take weeks to find the right name. That's why she's been so determined to pull all this together. And it's just, she's inspirational to all of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, again, we just told a great story about it, but realizetoact.com. So if you're watching, go there right now. But no, Tanya, this has been an incredible conversation, and like I said, you've been an inspiration to us here at Dean Houston, and since we have a podcast called Inspire, we had to have you on. It was only right. But what I know we kind of asked like what advice you would have for everybody who wants to kind of get into the nonprofit or cause-driven space, but just in general. If you have a message to send out to everybody and you had one quick thing to say as we say goodbye for this one, though we are definitely going to need to follow up with you, later to hear about the progress. What is it? You've got 30 seconds. Tell the world what it needs to hear.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Together, we can make a difference. And please get involved. Even a little bit of your time can make a huge difference. So reach out to us at Realize to Act. Reach out to any other causes that you're passionate about. You can do something. We can do something together.
Yeah. Together, we can make a difference. I can't think of wiser words, Tanya. So, all right. Well, to the audience, you know what you got to do. Go check out realizetoact.com. And Tanya, Dana, thank you so much. This conversation was phenomenal. And Tanya, seriously, you are an inspiration. And Dana said it a couple times, but the wisdom in what you're doing right now is impressive regardless of age. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I got an opportunity to share my message.
Well, this is Colton again with Inspire, and thank you so much. We'll see y'all soon.